I've just finished watching The Rings of Power Season 2 and I think I've cracked the code on why this show is so bad. So I will let you in on a secret. Come closer here, come closer. This show is only made for the purpose of entertaining children. If you think about it, it makes total sense. In August, I said I was going to do a reaction video on each episode of The Rings of Power Season 2. But I quickly changed my mind because why would I ever want to do that? Why would I spend all of that time making these reviews about something that I really don't enjoy? So here is instead my summary of the entire Season 2 of Rings of Power, and oh boy, what a show. I don't want to be an ageist here, but maybe kids in general don't really care about character developments and characters' motivation and having characters making logical decisions, or maybe plot that makes sense. Kids maybe care more about things to happen on screen, and that is why I came to the conclusion that this show is made for kids because things just happen. So I have a couple of examples here I want to bring up. The first example is when Galadriel and Elrond and this group of elves stumbles upon the Barrow-wights. Then we have the cool fighting scene with the elves and the Barrow-wights, but afterwards you realize that this scene didn't really bring the story forward, except they gave Galadriel this line.
I think it's safe to say that something has awoken them.
No. Someone.
So that was the whole purpose of this scene, to have Galadriel say that, so we know that Galadriel has some inside information about Sauron and his works in the entire Middle-earth. But according to my theory, they only threw in this scene to keep the kids happy and entertained. The next scene on my list is when Arondir and Isildur is walking through this swamp. And all of a sudden, this huge creature swallows Isildur and they have to fight this big worm. And the punchline in this scene is when Arondir says this line.
This one we shall call supper.
So the purpose of this scene was to give our characters food, but were they hungry? Did they set up that they were hungry? No. But you know, it's a cool scene having a big creature coming up from the swamp, and I bet every kid out there was just clapping their hands. The last example here on the list is when Isildur and when his love interest just happens to change her heart in the last episode, leaving her husband that is building a house for her just like that. I'm telling you, in this show, stuff just happens. The biggest issue with this show is that it has way too many storylines and way too many characters. Let's get through all of them. We have Elendil and Queen Regent and Pharazôn and Númenor. We have Arondir that seems to be aimlessly running around with no real purpose in this season because they killed Bronwyn off screen. Then we have Isildur, Theo and what's her name, I don't care. We have Durin, his father, and Disa, and then we have Galadriel, Elrond and Gil-galad. Am I missing someone? Please remove some of these characters. Before they started making this show, I heard that Jeff Bezos, he just really wanted his own Game of Thrones show. With all these characters, you really need to simplify the plot. And when you're watching this show, you realize that they don't have time to really delve deep into the characters or exploring the plot lines properly. I have an example here how they leave out crucial moments in Celebrimbor's story because they don't have time to delve deeper into his struggle creating the 9 rings. In episode 6, we see Celebrimbor really struggling creating the 9 rings, and you start to wonder, why can't he create the rings? What's missing? How does it work when you're creating magical rings in this world? That would be interesting to see. So in my mind, I'm thinking that, okay, we were going to see how he solves his problem, right? Nope. Instead, we cut away and then we come back to Celebrimbor in episode 7, and there he just all of a sudden has managed to create the 9 rings just like that. So either the writers didn't have time to go deeper into Celebrimbor's story, or they were just lazy. Sitting down and coming up with magical rules and explaining how you create magic rings in Middle-earth, well, that's just hard work, man. I don't want to do that. Let's just cut away and let it happen off screen, and then we come back and we don't have to deal with all of that magical mumbo jumbo. It's so weird because when I watch Rings of Power, it feels so extremely slow, but at the same time it feels like they're fast forwarding each episode just because we're cutting away from the characters and then we come back and then we realize they just skipped crucial moments in these character arcs that we were supposed to see. Let's end this video with a couple of laughs, shall we? In this scene, when Galadriel falls like 1.5 meters, she gets really hurt and stunned and crawls around on the ground, struggling to get up again. And then a couple of moments later, we have this happening where Galadriel takes a jump off this cliff, and logically from this fall she would be dead 5 times over since she had such a problem falling from 1.5 meters. This show is amazing. Honestly, I think Galadriel was thinking, Elrond took a jump off the cliff in the beginning of the season. He can't do anything more heroic than me, come on. Here, grab my beer. I'm gonna jump off this cliff. I don't even need water to soften my impact. I'm just gonna hit the ground, smack on, and survive. Lastly, in this video, let's have a look at this scene where Galadriel fights, and I had to rewind a couple of times because this scene is so bad, and I couldn't stop laughing. I had so much fun watching orcs fall into Galadriel's sword, and it just looks like she is so out of place in this scene. They're trying to make her this warrior princess, whatever, and here she's like, what am I doing here? Oh my god, it's so bad. Okay, let's wrap up this video. I think we should probably stop watching Rings of Power. I know it's hard because it's enjoyable to watch a train derail, but if we just stop watching, maybe they have an incentive to not continue this train wreck. What do you guys think about the Rings of Power Season 2? Let me know in the comment section. That is all I have for now. I will see you with the next one. Bye!